Welcome to Reckless Paradise, everyone. I'm your host, Marissa, and I'm here with my co host, Dystro. Say hi.
Hello, everyone.
Happy Thursday, everybody. I hope everybody is having a pretty good week. We just got hammered with yet another snowstorm. Got about almost a foot of snow, about 10 inches worth.
Hmm.
And there's you down there with no snow. Congratulations. Yeah, whatever. Whatever. You and your stupid Florida weather.
Okay, we get rain, okay? It gonna rain.
Oh my goodness. Anyways, thank you guys for joining tonight's episode. I hope you guys enjoy it. Before we get into tonight's episode, just like to make a little, I don't know, like what to call this. I guess like a birthday announcement maybe. On this day in 1955, late great Eddie Van Halen was born.
Damn, it seems like so long ago.
I know.
Just and it's like we're taking this day to, or we're taking this time to celebrate the late great Eddie, uh, who had passed away in what 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago,
Almost 3 years ago, he passed away in 2020.
and it's like, damn.
Yeah, he would have been, I believe he would have been 68 years old today. If you guys don't know who Eddie Van Halen is at this point, you guys are missing out. He was the guitarist and one of the founding members of the rock group known as Van Halen, which we've covered a lot about Van Halen on this channel, and you guys should probably go check that out if you haven't done so already. God bless his soul. Literally one of the ultimate greats, up there with like Angus Young and Prince, George Thorogood, Jimi Hendrix, like up with those freaking greats. Like that's really a top five right there, top five list. But God bless him. We miss him. I heard Van Halen a couple times today on the radio, and it kind of gave me chills. Like I'm not gonna lie, it gave me instant chills.
Like goosebumps.
Oh, I love it. I really I love Eddie Van Halen so much. Okay, so tonight's episode, we are kind of covering a more serious topic, a topic that I feel like doesn't get enough attention nowadays. And Dystra knows a lot about this topic. We are covering the topic of MS. Now, MS stands for multiple sclerosis. And Dystra, would you like to
Yes.
tell us like what you know about multiple sclerosis before we continue?
So, multiple sclerosis is a disease in the immune system that eats away at the protective covering of nerves. Now, from my experience, I've had it ever since March of this year, or well, last year, I should say.
Last year, yeah.
Last year, I should say. I've had it since March. They didn't have a full diagnosis for it. Like they were just doing like kind of like they were trying to get tests for it, and we were trying to like get answers, and it took till October of last year to get a full answer saying
Yeah.
yes, it is MS. So from March to October, I was in the dark, like had no answers at all.
Right.
Um, but it is like nerve damage. So like it started with my hands, and it's like it kind of affected my gait, which is my balance. So it's like if your gait is off, your whole body is out of whack
Right. Because your balance is like your main like way of
function.
functioning. Yeah.
But yeah, like as soon as like I think it was like it all started like with my hands. I just couldn't like feel anything hardly. And then it was like it escalated from there to my arms because I couldn't hardly lift anything, couldn't open anything. And then from there, like you're like, okay, like we gotta go see a doctor or something. Went to the local like health department, um, which was like not too far away. It was like maybe a 10-15 minute drive, give or take. Um, and then he was saying like, yeah, like, can you stand up? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, he's like, can you walk? I'm like, yeah. I was like, but at the time, like I was walking with like a little bit of a limp, a little bit. Um, but it was just like it was. He was saying like you like it got to a point sometime like where he said like it got so bad like he said like yeah you might have to go to the hospital.
Wow.
Um, it was just because like he didn't want to take any risks and
Right.
me like falling and hurting myself and
Yeah,
shit.
and breaking something like that wouldn't have
Yeah,
been good.
yeah. But like I was just so mortified. I'm like, no, I'm like, I'm not going to the hospital. Like if I desperately needed to,
You
I
would.
will.
Yeah.
But
Now,
I
like,
do.
now before we continue, I'm just gonna read a little thing that I found from the National MS Society, which is the website you guys can go look at if you guys want to find more information about this. So basically, to sum up kind of what Dystro was saying, multiple sclerosis, also known in short terms as MS, is a disease that impacts your brain, spinal cord, and as well as the optic nerves, which make up the central nervous system and controls
Mhm,
everything that we do. The exact cause of multiple sclerosis is unknown, but we do know that something triggers the immune system to attack the central nervous system, resulting with damage to the myelin, which is a protective layer insulating wire like nerve fibers, and it disrupts the signals to and from the brain. This interruption of communication signals causes unpredictable symptoms such as the following: numbness, tingling, mood changes, memory problems, pain, fatigue, blindness, and/or paralysis. Everyone's experience with MS is different, and these losses may be temporary or long lasting. So basically everybody like who has this, they all have different like experiences. Like with you, you said it started with your hands and arms. Some people may have had the issue with their feet not being able to like kick or walk or do anything like that. With
mhm,
you, it was your hands. You had a hard time picking stuff up. You couldn't
mhm.
feel anything. I remember when we were playing video games together, like when we played what, pick a game,
Forza.
Forza, 2K. um I had to kind of go easy on 2K because you couldn't like do the submission kind of
Hmm.
procedure on there where you have to like freaking work out
I
your
was
fingers
yeah,
practically.
I was trying to get thumb strength into the controller and I was like and like I was like lightly chapping it and stuff. Like I could not do anything.
I remember. And well, we'll get to like, so what I'm gonna do is I think we're just gonna do this, like we're gonna talk about like what you just talked about, like how it all started, and then we're gonna progress to how you are now at the end.
Okay.
So, since we're in between right now, I'm going to continue on with some facts about MS that people may or may not know already. So, there are certain risk factors that may increase your risk of developing this. Age is one thing, although MS can occur at any age, but
Hmm.
usually onset occurs between the years of 20 and 40 years old. However, younger and older people can also be affected, which is kind of scary if you think about it. Like, you're only, what, 24 now?
Hmm.
You were diagnosed when you were just about to turn 24. It was a couple months before you turned 24.
Hmm.
That's fucking scary. Like, you're so young. Like, you have a whole life ahead of you. And then to find out that you get diagnosed with it, it's just like, oh my God.
I the doctor he was like and plus I have to go see him at like the end of this month anyway. Um, to see how I'm doing and stuff. Um, he's the type of doctor that like does not take no for an answer sort of person, which I
Yeah.
kind of like that because like it makes me feel at ease.
Hmm.
And and he was like yeah, like, like we're gonna get these tests done. and stuff that and like I had to do like lots of not like lots, but like maybe 2 or 3 blood tests just to get stuff done. And then like I had to do like an MRI, a scan of the like the brain and my spinal cord and stuff. And he saw that there was like a little um white speck in my spinal cord that was kind of affecting how my gait was.
Right.
And he was saying, he's like, well, that's the problem right there. And and he says like, like it can be treated, but it's not curable. That was the heart wrenching thing.
Yeah.
It was not curable.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not curable, but it can be treated in a variety of ways.
Mhm.
Another thing, before I get to the treatment here, like of like how people can treat this, another thing I found interesting is that women are more than 2 to 3 times as likely as men to have relapsing remitting MS. That's scary too, because like I'm a woman, like oh boy. And then it also says like having low levels of vitamin D and low exposure to sunlight is also associated with a greater risk of MS. I don't know how true that is, but I guess that's what scientists are saying, as well as obesity. Um, if you have like obesity problems, it can be linked to multiple sclerosis, which again I don't know how true that is. Certain autoimmune diseases as well. If you have like thyroid disease, psoriasis, type 1 diabetes, or IB, also known as inflammatory bowel disease. Um, Jeez, this is a lot to read.
Yeah, but it's like it's good to spread awareness now because like you might not know like you might have it and you don't even know it until you go to the doctor like the next few days or something like, oh yeah, like hey, you might have this thing, and you're like, I was just, I was like, you're like, I was just listening to that, you know. So it's like it's good to have like I guess some not closure, but some good breathing room. So it's like I wasn't like I said, like I wasn't left in the dark. Like I was left in the dark from like March
Month,
until
yeah.
October. Not table.
Octave.
You shut up. March
Blooper.
to October.
Blooper.
That's gonna be bloopers. From March to October. Would you? Would you? You know what? You know what? Whatever. I'm
Just
just gonna
quit.
shut up now. I'm just gonna shut up now. You can go on by
No. No. But yeah, like I can't imagine though, like being like you said, like kind of quote unquote left in the dark for months, like from like what March to October. Like I can't imagine that. I really can't.
it was well. It's just because like there was just unknown answers.
Right. It takes a while sometimes to get answers about your health.
Well, and plus it it started in March, like I said, and then it's like from there, like I did like let's see the MRI, and then I did the blood tests and stuff, and then then I had to do like I did 2 MRIs in the exact same day,
Ugh.
which was one for my head, one for my back, um, for my spinal cord there. Did multiple blood tests, had to do a spinal tap.
Ugh.
That was like, I mean, you were still like wide awake for that.
Ugh. Ugh. Ugh.
So, um, and then like I think like after that, like they were like, okay, yeah, that's multiple sclerosis. I'm like, do you think like you could have like told me like I don't know after the first MRI or something or the first blood test?
Now, the
Like,
thing is, though, sometimes with MRIs and blood tests, they're not 100% accurate. So that's why they kind of have to
yeah,
request for two or more than one.
I get that. Yeah, but it's just like Jesus,
Because, like, with the blood tests, like, cross contamination can happen if someone gets their hands on it and they don't know what the hell they're doing in the lab, like that kind of thing.
right?
Um, and then with MRIs, like I said, sometimes you have to get them done twice just to make sure that they find everything that they need to find.
Right.
This is coming from like a former nursing student who's had experience in like these labs and x-ray and stuff, and because like I had to go to these parts of the hospital for clinical hours. I used to like doing that. I used to like going to watch. It was actually really interesting. You learn a lot.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, all it takes is one bad cross contamination in the lab, and they have to get your blood redrawn and stuff like that. And it's just like, ugh. That's why they try to take multiple tubes though as well, because they also look for different things in each tube.
And plus, the first time that I did blood, like I did like 5 fucking tubes.
God damn.
I'm like, are you
I would have
serious?
been I would have been passed out by the second
Oh
tube.
yeah, I know, because you told me
Ugh.
like like I think it was like yeah the first time I went like they had to do like I think like 6 or 7 tubes
Fuck.
and like halfway through I think the fourth tube they had to get me out of my arm because like there was no more flow. And so they were like, okay, like where else can you do it? So they had to do it in my freaking hand, on my right hand.
Ugh.
And then it's like, whoop, and it just started to go. I'm like, okay, well, all right.
Okay, so here's a question I want to ask you. I've always wondered this. Did they show you your X-ray, like not your X-ray, excuse me, but your MRI?
Yeah, they did.
Oh my God, I wish I could fucking see. Like I'm looking at pictures right now on Google, and it's like very faint. Like you have to look close
Yeah,
because
it was very, very faint, but it showed my whole skeleton and all that stuff. And he had to really zoom in and he showed my spinal cord. And he said, like, do you see this like little like white like not like dot, but it was like a white speck.
like a white oval kind of thing.
Yeah, like it was in my spinal cord. And that's what was causing my gait to be off
Oh my God.
and also kind of almost uh almost not seeing in my right eye almost
Wow.
because my
Now,
right eye kind of like
yeah,
going a little
like
bit.
I'm looking at like the picture. It's just well at a picture, excuse me. Like this person obviously like this person you could definitely tell more clearly. I don't know if it's just the technology they used, but with this picture there's like three gray specks on their spinal cord.
Yeah,
Oh
it
my
was like
God.
yeah, so like if the more spec that they have, more their gate's gonna be off.
Oh my God. Fuck. This sucks. Like I feel sad now.
I mean, I'm still here, aren't I? I'm still alive and kicking.
Now, another complication that I'm reading up on, like I don't know, like I gotta mention it because it is a complication that some people do develop cognitive problems, such as forgetfulness or having a hard time trying to find the word they're trying to say. Now, with
That's
you,
me sometimes.
yeah, I didn't want to say that because like I didn't want to be rude, but like you do have those moments, but I'm trying to tell myself, okay, it's part of it. Like I gotta like wait or like help them come up with the word to say, and we do that. Like we feed off each other sometimes, and that's good.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, it's just because like sometimes I can find the right word, but then there's just sometimes I do not know what the right word would be.
right, and we all have those problems. I really didn't know until today that was actually part of MS, so
Mm.
that's kind of cool to know. Excuse me. Okay, so now that I've kind of covered the basis of what this kind of what are we calling it? Like a disease? Yeah, it says a disease on here.
Yeah, it's
Since I've
basically
kind of
the
covered the basis of what this disease is all about, like you said, the like not treatment, but the diagnosis, you have to go through a whole bunch of tests. You know, with blood tests, MRIs, spinal tap as well. Um, excuse me. So now we're kind of on to the treatment part. So there are different ways to treat this according to what I'm looking at. There's therapies, obviously, like physical therapy. I guess counseling is another good one for those who might end up, with anxiety after this. Support groups are also good to go to. You can also, I guess, you could treat it with medication through like
Yes.
chemotherapy.
So it's you can do it through infusions,
Yeah,
which it's kind of hit or miss on some things, but the doctor, Dr. Solomon, great guy. Um, he gave me like an ultimatum sort of thing, like if you think about it, it's like it's based on like the movie the Matrix. It's a way older movie. But it's like the red pill and blue pill sort of situation.
yeah.
It's like the red pill. It's like you do this infusion, it'll help you out, or you take the blue pill and you just do like over the counter like prescribed like medicine for it. Now he said the risk for the meds it's kind of like way higher because of some people might have a little bit of an after effect having it. He said like the chances of that was like really high. Um, he said it might not help. He's like it might help some people, but it might not help a lot of people either. Um, and then he said the infusions. He said those would just be hooked into your bloodstream. You'd be there for like he gave me that ultimatum too. Like you do it for 6 hours, but you'd be good for 6 months, or you do it for an hour and you just have to do it once a month.
Yeah, the once a month isn't too bad.
Yeah, but see, like there's like some people that are saying like, oh yeah, like I would do the 6 hours for 6 months, but you're sitting there for 4 to 6 hours.
I'd be just sleeping.
I mean, some people do that. Like there was an older gentleman, like the last time when I did my last infusion, he was like right next to me. He was sleeping.
Damn.
Like he was just like he was just snoring, not like snoring, but like sleeping away.
Like, do these
And
do these like professionals keep an eye on like how long
oh
it's been?
yeah, yeah, like they'll keep an eye out on you, and there's like the machines will like go beep 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 beep, and like they'll be like, okay, like you have this much long left, and it's like, like hang tight, and stuff, and they'll be like, do you want anything? Do you want me to get you a warm blanket? Do you want to get like have any water snacks and stuff? They'll like take care of you while you're having your infusion done,
Damn.
which is a good thing.
That
Because
is a good
there's
thing.
I mean, because there's some hospitals they don't give a fuck about their
Oh
patients
yeah.
sometimes.
I'm not even gonna talk about like half the hospitals around here, but
But like,
um
but the people that I go to, it's like and I got like a different person each time, but it's like I see the same people all the time every month. Which like I mean, by this point they would have to get to know me by this point. So but like they're all very nice. Like the last time I had gotten like a warm blanket and I had to put it over my feet because my feet were starting to get cold. I'm like,
in Florida?
well,
Damn.
well, it gets cold in my room sometimes. I mean, damn. And
In
plus, I don't
Florida?
sleep with socks on, so
Now, which
uh,
medication do you know which medication they have you on?
yes, is called Tysabri.
Okay, yeah, I see it right here on this list.
Yeah, and it's a liquid medicine. I don't remember the dosage or anything, but that's not what
Yeah,
I
it's
have.
not important right now.
It's not important. Bam, non-factor. So they hook that up, and I'm there for maybe an hour, maybe a few minutes, a little bit after. But then afterwards, they're like, okay, like just sit tight for maybe like 5-10 minutes, see how you're doing, and then we'll let you go home.
Right.
Simple. Um, Well, the first time I had to sit there for like maybe 15, 20 because it was like my first time there. And then they said after the second time, you're able to go whenever you want to. I was
Right.
like, okay. I was like, okay. But after the first one, like I felt like really fucking good.
That's
Like
good.
I just felt like I was like, okay, yep, like all right. Like that didn't take it out of me, but like I was like I was just waiting for them. And oh my god, the fucking whoo, like just trying to take that peeling the bandage, like the clear kind of like in the middle bandage off, like whoo, like it. Oh my god, it just hurt every time. It's like I was like, rip it off like a bandage, just rip it off.
Yeah. So, like Dystro said, you can get your treatment through infusions. There's also the oral method through pills. There's also injections, I guess, I'm looking at here.
Yeah, you can get it injected into you, but it might depend on like how much you need injected.
Right, and how often, and if your doctor and if your insurance covers it, that kind of thing. I'm also reading there's chemotherapy for this.
Yeah.
That's not my type of thing, but I guess if it comes down to that, I mean, like you have to do what you got to do. And anti-inflammatory drugs as well for those who encounter swelling in the joints and tissues and stuff like that. There's a lot of different ways you could treat this. Once again, it's not curable, but it is manageable and treatable. So that's a good thing. And you can do self care at home as well. Exercise for about 20 to 30 minutes, 5 days per week. It helps improve your cardiovascular health as well. Um, Now, let's see. So, how are you now compared to when you first kind of were going through it in March of last year? How are you compared to then?
Oh, I feel like I'm on top of the fucking world.
Good.
Like like from March until October, like I had done like I was trying to like keep up not like a facade, but just try to keep up my emotional state, I should say.
Right.
'Cause I was just trying to like, you okay?
My fucking phone just went off. I
Jesus,
don't know why that was on.
Jesus Christ, scared the fuck out of me.
Someone just tried to call me. I don't know why. Anyways, so keep going.
God
Probably a
damn.
fucking scam number again.
But like I was trying to, like I was saying, keep up my emotional state, trying to keep up like my health in a way, and plus like ever since I had moved to Florida and stuff, was drinking nothing but water sometimes
Right.
because like I was trying to like lose weight. I mean, still am. But like it was just like I was saying, like I was just kept in the dark for so long. And I was just like, okay, I was like, well, maybe it could be this, maybe it could be that. And then when I was telling you about it, you were saying it could just be this. And I was like, okay. And that was like my mindset. Like after I told you what was going on, you were saying like, yeah, like this could be it. I was like, okay, that was what I was just dead set on. Like it was like the root of the problem. And I was like I had just stopped worrying about like what else it could be or anything else. Like I was just dead set on like that was the answer. And I knew going into what the diagnosis was. And then I was like, okay, at least I knew somebody other than like family members or anything. Like I knew you would know what it could be. And plus you kind of helped me put my brain at ease.
Yeah.
Um, so I commend you for that. um,
Anytime, anytime.
I mean, because like you always ask me like what it could be for like what you have going on and stuff. I'm like,
Oh Oh yeah.
It could be, hives or something like that. And I always ask my mom like what it could be. And she's like, oh yeah, that's like blah blah blah. And I'll be like, yeah, that's what I told her. Like, hey. Um, but like from like from there and on and stuff. And I was like almost 2 months into my job at that point in March.
Jeez, like you were literally just a fucking baby at that job at the time. Now you're like a fucking not a rookie, not an amateur, but like a
Semi-pro.
semi pro. Yeah, you're like right in the middle. You're mid.
Right in the middle. Wow. Oh, but I mean, plus I'm coming up on my 1 year anniversary at the job too, so
Whoop whoop. Um, but yeah, so like, are you having like problems with your hands as much anymore?
not as much. I mean, it's still kind of like it's just like numb at the fingertips, but it's like mostly just non like how should I put it? Like it's not affecting my job in a way either.
Right, and that's a good thing, you know?
It's like it's not affecting me like opening anything. It's not affecting me like helping my mom out when she needs me. Um,
Is it
it's not.
affecting you with video games anymore?
Oh no, 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 no. Like, and plus, like, I was trying to switch how I was playing like certain games, like for Forza, for example. Like, I switched my acceleration to A, so then I could just press it down. I never changed it. I hadn't changed it.
Jeez, I don't think I'd be able to do that. I'm so used to my triggers.
I mean, see, that's the thing. Like, if I got so used to a certain controller layout, I would just play it like that, like for all of mankind. Like I would just do that.
Right.
Like same with 2K. Like I have the timed pin system instead of like the button mashing system because like it would like tire up my hand, and I just do the
Jeez.
time thing now.
Jeez.
But it's like that's what I was used to. So
Right, and sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. Like, if you gotta, like, change the way you do something just so, like, it's more convenient for you, by all means, freaking do it. This goes for, like, just about anybody out there who has, like, some sort of, like, disorder or disease or something like that, that kind of, like, not completely disables them from doing what they need to do, but like kind of makes it difficult. Like if you gotta change the way you do something just so it's more convenient for you, fucking do it. I don't give a shit what people say. You gotta do what you gotta do. It's life, you know?
yeah,
Well, it's a good thing that you're doing better now, and I'm glad that those infusions are helping you. And like you said, you gotta go see your doctor at the end of this month, which is literally in a matter of days. So you'll have to let me know how that goes and stuff like
well
that.
it was like it's kind of like a just like a little like wellness
A
sort of
checkup.
checkup thing. So like he said like he's like um if you're doing better, he said you don't have to see me for another 6 months. Um then he said after the end of that 6 months, he's like if you're still doing better, he said you don't have to see me for like another year.
Holy shit.
But he said if you're kind of getting worse between now and that year, he said, come in, we'll assess the situation, what's going on and stuff. And he's like, and then we'll work from there.
I like that. I like doctors that actually give a shit about their patients, you know?
Yeah, and plus, like, he's the type of doctor that can be funny, but then he could be serious at the exact same time.
That's a good doctor right there for you. Like he has a sense of humor, but like he has a job to do and stuff like that.
Yeah, like, and like a lot of patients had said, like, like he's a very good doctor. He's like, he cares about his patients, and the same thing with my not insurance team, but like the people that I go through for the insurance stuff, like they're the exact same way. Like they don't take no for an answer sort of thing.
Right.
And I'm like, that's good because like I would be so distraught like if my insurance people would have been like, yeah, so they said no. we're not gonna try again. Sorry. And it's like, and it's just like, okay, so it's up to me to fucking do it. It's like that's your fucking job.
Right.
So,
Jeez. So I just remembered that I probably should bring this up as well since we're on the topic of MS. So, what is really, really kind of bittersweet for us in our friendship is how we kind of share the same music taste, including, Billy Talent. Now,
mhm.
I've mentioned this several times on the show. Their drummer, Aaron, also has MS. So I feel like, in a way, this kind of brought Dystro a little bit closer to Billy Talent than he thinks. Because, you like drumming, he likes drumming, he's got MS, you've got MS. Like, you guys have something in common. Like,
MS brother for life.
honestly, though, I really, really would like to get us to go see them in concert. I want you to meet Aaron. Just tell him your story and just like tell him how much he's helped you just by just think about it because he was diagnosed at a young age too, just like you were. He still
Mhm,
played drums even though he had MS, but unfortunately in 2016 he had a relapse of MS, which
mhm,
actually kind of forced him to stop playing drums altogether full time. You may see him play drums once in a while at some of the concerts that Billy Talent has been putting on lately, but it's not full time. It's just one song. He didn't play on the Afraid of Heights album. He didn't play on the Crisis of Faith album either. So I guess that's what MS can do to you. It can kind of really F up your life. And I'm really glad that both him and you have that mindset to not let it take over your life. Like, even though Aaron cannot play drums, he's still a part of the group. Like, he acts kind of as
mhm,
like a producer. He organizes a lot of these charities going on for the concerts that they did last year. They did like a food drive kind of thing
mhm,
where if you were going to the concert, you needed to bring like a non-perishable food item to donate. He's all in charge of organizing that, and that's really cool. He's also in charge of like organizing the merch stands and stuff like that. So like even though he has MS, he still has a role to play in life, and that is a really important thing to remember. And I feel like that's kind of what you're doing too.
Yeah, like when I was before, sorry, I was just trying to get myself situated. Um, but like I was like doing like air drumming and stuff, and like I still do that to this day, but it's like even though when I had the MS, still sometimes I was just like still just drumming away even though I didn't have it, sort of thing.
Right.
Um, but then like I always told you like, and I tell people this all the time. I said I'm not gonna let it take over my life. I'm not gonna let it ruin my life. I'm just gonna live my life to the fucking fullest. And you know what?
Amen.
And it's like, you know what? It's like if I have the relapse and stuff, like if I ever do, I'm just gonna be like, you know what? I set myself back to square one. I could always just work on it, and you know what, and try to make myself better. Um, from from there. But yeah, I mean like, and plus like my mom and my dad, like they were like kind of being just like, it's like it sucks, but it's like, what, they are just both supportive.
And
And
that's
there's
good.
and there's both being like, you know what, like you will get over this eventually, but it's like when that time comes, he's like, and they'll be, like so proud because see how far I've come from March to October to now, being like kind of like not being able to properly stand in one place without trying to almost fall, to walking in almost in a semi straight line but not fall every time.
Right.
And I can open things and like do laundry and stuff, and I mean still do, but like do other things like I mean, yeah, like the fatigue is there, but it's like I have to get used to that and I have to work up my body strength more.
Yeah, you're not gonna let this take over your life.
Yeah, and like to anybody that is dealing with any type of disease or mental illness out there or anything, just let you know like you're not alone in this. Like we all have like something that goes on in us, and like MS is like yeah, it's a bitch, but it's like you know what? It's like you gotta have to say F you MS,
Hell
and
yeah.
and you know what? Just take it. It's like I'm not trying to be vulgar, but it's like you know what? Like rip its freaking throat out and just throw it away.
Choke slam it.
Choke slam it, yeah, through a table, off the Hell in a Cell.
But yeah, again, I'm glad to hear you're doing really well now. I'm really glad that, you've shown improvement and stuff like that. I think you're gonna be fine. Like, with these infusions and stuff. I myself don't know how I'd be able to handle it because I don't like needles. Especially like when it comes to like injecting something in me. Like I can understand like vaccines, like on the deltoid on
Right,
your shoulder, like that don't hurt.
right.
It's the fucking forearm because your forearm is so sensitive. I can't. I'd have to go with like the medication. Like I'm good at like remembering to take a pill. Like I'm good at remembering like when to do it because like I have to do that nightly anyways.
Right.
Um, but yeah. So yeah, I guess that kind of covers MS. So if you guys have any like questions or want to know a little bit more about MS, you can go to their website. Let me just bring it back up here again so I'm not giving you guys the wrong website. It is nationalmssociety.org. It has everything there that you guys need to know, like what it's all about, medications that can be prescribed for it, and stuff like that. So be sure to go check that website out. Um, but yeah, um, okay. So changing gears. So I've got a couple things that we need to talk about before we conclude the episode. One being the next episode. So according to my new calendar that I have on my freaking wall, we are approaching the end of January, and our last episode for January is literally this Sunday on the 29th, it looks like. So
Yep.
on Sunday, we are bringing back Debate
The
Hour.
debate hour.
Yeah, so we're kind of running it back. We're gonna put two of these little factions head to head. Both involve Chris Jericho, believe it or not. One being the Inner Circle, and the second one being today's Jericho Appreciation Society. So, for those of you who are AEW fans and have been following along with the AEW storylines for the past couple to 3 years, you guys know exactly who I'm talking about. When Chris Jericho first started in AEW, he had put together a faction known as the Inner Circle, and then just last year they split, and now Jericho has a new group called the Jericho Appreciation Society. We're not going to get into the details right now because we're going to save that for Sunday. So we're going to put those two factions head to head and decide which one we prefer over the other. So yeah, it's going to be a good old battle between two solid factions, I guess we could say. I wish the name was a little bit better on the Jericho Appreciation Society's standpoint, but
JAS.
yeah, JAS. So if you guys are interested in seeing that, be sure to check out the episode for this Sunday. All right, so Daisha, what's tonight's song of the night?
So, I was trying to come up with a song, and I think I'm going to go with Dishwalla. Is it correct?
Dishwalla, yes.
Okay. It's the is it County Blue Cars?
Yes, I love that
Okay.
song.
Okay. Because I had added it to my playlist, and I was like, okay, County Blue Cars, County Blue Cars, and then I was like, oh yeah, that's gonna be my song of the night
That
then.
that group is so underrated. They're kind of like a one-hit wonder kind of thing.
And that's the like only song that
Yeah,
you
that
both
a lot of
know.
people know. It's from 1995. So this is during kind of like this is kind of when indie rock was kind of coming into play because at this time Oasis was a big contender for that
Hmm.
genre, and Dishwalla came into play and came out with Counting Blue Cars. So if you guys want to listen to that, It'll be in the top right hand corner at the end of this episode. A link will pop up. Go ahead and click it and take a listen. Speaking of music, so here's a little update about our buddy Dean. His album is officially out everywhere: Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube. I'm going to put the links to the Spotify and the YouTube versions in the description below if you guys would like to check it out. I have not listened to it yet. I have only heard of the song Beautiful Blonde because he released that as a single literally months and months prior to this coming out. So it is officially out now. It is, I believe, 10 tracks long. Go take a listen. Go show him some love and some support. Tell him that the Reckless Paradise podcast sent you there. Go give him some love. Go listen to his stuff. Go spread it around. He's a good dude. If you guys don't know who he is, we did an interview with him last year. One of our very first episodes we did on the channel. We talked about his wrestling career. We talked about his future plans. Go check that out. It's like one of our most viewed videos. And speaking of one of our most viewed videos, our last episode we did of the breakdown of the Crisis of Faith album by Billy Talent has reached 50 views as we're recording this. That is fucking insane.
Yeah, it's like when we did it, it was like, it's like, we were saying like, this is like one of the like best episodes that we did, like for both of us, and I was like, okay, like we gotta put it on like um the Billy Talent Reddit, or well, you did.
Yeah,
I
I
was
put
like,
it there.
and yeah, I was like, hopefully it reaches some people, and
And it
apparently it
did.
did.
It did really good. It's currently our second
Second.
most viewed video right now. The top video is literally the first episode of this podcast, which was the Billy Talent album ranking, but my version, because we did 2 solo episodes for that. Because we were just
It,
testing out Anchor at the time.
yeah, it was the top 10 Billy Talent songs for your.
I thought it was the album ranking. I don't remember. Um, also, I think you cut out at the end of that sentence.
It was the Billy Talent songs top
Okay.
10.
Okay, so I'm getting a little mixed up. It's okay. But yeah, I'm blown away. We are blown away by how good our last episode did. I did not expect it to get that many views in a week. That is absolutely insane. Thank you guys. Um, I really liked that episode just because it was composed really well. We kind of took our time. We went over each song, explained the meaning behind it, explained how we felt, and it was just it's an album that I'm really passionate about considering it was literally a brand new Billy Talent album that came out last year. It was our first album we listened to together. And it was actually kind of like my first album I listened to in full in a very long time. So like it kind of like just sparked my imagination of like, okay, I wonder how other albums sound if I listen to them in full. It kind of just sparked my love for music all over again.
Right.
But yeah, again, thank you guys for blowing up that video. No pun intended.
Hmm.
So if you guys stuck around to the very end, we greatly appreciate your support. Be sure to follow us on social media by clicking on the link in the description below, which will take you to the Linktree, which has everything that you guys need, such as Instagram, Reddit, TikTok, Twitter. Dystro's gaming YouTube channel is there as well. He's getting pretty close to 300, which is absolutely incredible.
Mm-hmm. At the time of this recording, I think I'm at 287. I
Wow.
think.
That's not bad. That's pretty good. So be sure to go subscribe to his channel for weekly gaming content. I'm in there sometimes too because we play video games together when we're not recording. And
Hmm.
also, like I said, be sure to follow us on social media to keep up to date with the podcast in case something goes wrong, we can't upload. Make sure to go listen to Dean's new album known as Dean Not Duke on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube. Be sure to listen to tonight's song of the night. And thank you guys for listening, and we'll catch you guys this Sunday. Peace.
Peace.